Hello, everyone. Welcome to another episode of the Gooners podcast. This is a late recording, especially because of a couple of reasons. One is for all our fans, Happy Diwali, belated Happy Diwali, whatever that is. And the other reason is it is difficult to find speakers, especially Arun. He's a busy man, so so that is another reason why we are late, but we are here to discuss the win against Burnley. It is actually a really good week. We'll talk more about that shortly. But before that, as usual, please do like, share, subscribe, comment in. Arun, what is that called? Press in your bell icon.
Bell icon for regular notifications. Yeah.
Yes.
So you subscribe, you listen to the episode. If you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, listen to our episode. We're very sure you'll like it. And then you can subscribe to the channel, press the bell icon, and share it with your friends.
Yeah, now you guys know why I had to bring Arun in, because he does these things in a better way than I could ever do. So
at least I'm not completely useless. I can be used for something, right?
But again, let's start this discussion. It's it's a great week for us, right? Like, I mean, the game was not the greatest game ever, or we do not get like a tennis score or whatever to make us feel good. But that was also good because we had a very mute game, expected kind of win, and then everyone around us kind of had a bad week, to say the least.
Not everyone, but like the ones that we wanted to have a bad week, probably we always, like, if you ask any Arsenal fan, every week in week out, they would want like Tottenham to have a very bad weekend, and that happened. That was fantastic. I think it was already predicted, right? This was going to happen for sure. And
Yes.
then that Chelsea game against Man City. Not that we are like, even the Sky Sports predictions came out, and we are the third in line in terms of favorites to win the league this season with City. Like, they're at 87% probability of winning the league. Liverpool are next with 7, and we are there with 5. So when you look at all those things, even though we don't want to say that we are title contenders, one of our contenders did lose points, so that was good. Like City losing points.
The thing is, the best situation I could think of for that game was like Chelsea and City drawing, right? Like, I mean, the thing is, like, I cannot for the life of me wish for a Chelsea win unless it's against
it's not
Tottenham.
easy. It's not easy. It's not easy. I didn't. That's the thing. I was just thinking that, like, Chelsea would do us some good by either winning the game or drawing. That's what I was expecting. I was like, I didn't want City to win, so like, just to give us some breathing space in this title race that we are supposedly in. So and I wasn't expecting Chelsea to play the way they did. But again, I don't know if it was like a great game of football or like a game of bad defending. But it is what it is. We got that breathing space that we needed. We just like 1 point off the top, and that in spite of probably not being at our best, as all the pundits have been saying so far, and we've been talking about it too. So yeah, gives us some breathing space. Good weekend overall. And it was Diwali as well, so like celebration with the fam and everything. But of course, nothing happened. Me and my wife were just sitting in separate rooms and like going about with our work. So, but that's what Diwali is right now. That's what life is right now, right?
But so before that, before we start off everything, right? Like, there was another game that was interesting from Arsenal women, the Leicester game that they played over the weekend. Brilliant game, right? Like, that was one of the best comebacks ever by the Arsenal women, right? Like,
Yeah.
2-0 down at halftime and then scoring 6 goals. They could have scored 2 more, like 2 or 3 more at least. One was off the bar, and then Beth Mead coming back into the team missed two goals. So It would have been 8-2 at the end of it.
There's the tennis score that you were asking for. Like the boys failed to deliver, but the girls gave that to us. So it's good. It was like, yeah, I mean, I saw the score at halftime. I wasn't actively watching the game. I saw the score on Twitter at 2-0, and I was like really surprised. Why are we losing to Leicester of all the teams, 2-0? And then like the second half happened, and Russo happened, and all of those goals were fantastic. Like the ones that were set up, the ones that were scored. And Chloe Lacasse, I think she also had a goal, if I remember right. I remember seeing that goal, and that was like proud because she's Canadian,
Yeah.
and I think she's from Quebec. She's from Montreal, so that was nice to see. Like a moment of relatability, I would say. Local hero scoring a goal, so that was fun. Let me check before like the subscribers start complaining about me providing some wrong information, but I think they did score. She did score.
I
Yeah,
think
so
so.
that was like a good game, a really, really good game, really good comeback.
Mhm.
No,
Get
yeah, Chloe Lacasse scored the first goal. I was right. So Chloe, Russo, Caitlin Ford, and then Pelova, Blackstenius, and Hurtig. Yeah.
yeah. Getting back to our game though, right? Like, what a change a week can make. Last week we were talking, like all the discussions were around like the referees, how this is difficult for Arsenal, and then there were people complaining about us complaining about referees. Um, all that
And
happened
did
in
you
a
hear
week.
that war audio that came out? The audio is out, and they're like saying, "Oh, it's a push, but it's not like anything that is big enough to make Gabriel fall the way he did."
Yeah, because
Yeah,
Gabriel's made of uh,
Easy's
yeah,
made of
different
steel, so he's
steel
not supposed to fall like
fall
that.
down. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, when
That was
Saka touches someone at the back, they can fall, and that's a foul. So yeah, that's the war audio. They didn't mention anything about the offside, if I remember right. It was like a
no.
6 minute audio, but they just went through like all of the checks, and the goal was right. And apparently, Kai Havertz should have gotten a red.
Oh, wow.
Wow. Yeah. Wow was my first thing, like trailing leg. So the rules of football are being like interpreted as and how we want it to be. Like this happening with the people who are supposed to be arbitrators is what bothers me the most.
With
It's not
video
about like
referee, the
decisions
whole
going
point,
against.
yeah, the whole point of video refereeing is to recheck things, to make sure that things are not missed. And then there are people like this. Well, it's nothing new. It's nothing new. This week, another Premier League manager has come out and like taken a swing at the PL referees again. Deserby came out and complained about it again.
Yeah, and even after the Chelsea game, Pochettino was fighting with Anthony Taylor, and the same guy who was talking about like Arteta the week before when things were fine for him. I am liking this approach. Like I am liking the fact that the managers are coming out and talking about the bad refereeing. It's not just because if just one or two clubs talk about it, it just turns into like, oh, you guys are crybabies. You
Yep.
don't want to accept decisions, and you just want to like always play the victim card. That's not the thing here. It's not just like a conspiracy against us, or like a conspiracy that City are getting all the decisions in their favor. It's the fact that so many teams are at the receiving end of these bad decisions. Why? Because they do not have any levels of consistency or any proper interpretation of the rules of the game.
Let me cut to the chase on that one, right? Like you're trying to skirt around the words around there, but like the thing is, we have very incapable referees.
Yeah.
We have referees who are not fit to officiate these games, who shouldn't be fit enough to, who shouldn't be allowed to. Like we know the situation where referees who were punished, air quotes, to go down to championship are
And then
coming
comes
back.
back to like referee the most important game of the weekend. Like
Yes,
it made no sense to me. Like you're relegated, you're supposed to be there for some time. That's like the penance that you do to correct your mistakes and come back like as a better referee. I don't know whether he came back as a better referee, but like the very fact that that punishment is just like one weekend of officiating in a league just one level lower than the Premier League, and then you come back and officiate the biggest game, like one of the biggest games of the season, between two big six teams. It made absolutely no sense to me. I mean, like it's just a joke at this point. It's not that we are complaining about like I think that's one thing that I would want to make clear here. I'm not complaining about decisions going against Arsenal. I'm complaining about the general quality of refereeing that is going on in this league, and it makes zero sense to me how interpretations can be different. And what does subjective even mean? What
It
does
means
subjective mean? I don't
it,
understand.
it means whatever they feel is right for the referee to go to be right, right? Like come back and it's like writing an answer and then figuring out what the question that will suit this answer
That's
be.
what it looks like. It made like the decisions and the audio have made absolutely no sense to me.
Yeah, but getting back to the game, it was surprised to, I mean, for me at least, it was surprised that White had an injury.
Yeah.
I mean, that guy never gets injured, never. It's very odd to see White not in the team sheet.
Yeah, it was surprising. Yeah.
But more surprising was that we went to Burnley and we had two number six instead of like when we don't have Odegaard. Yes, we don't have Odegaard, but this is like Burnley. They're coming to Emirates Stadium. They are one of the worst teams. We all know how bad they are. But we went ahead with Jorginho and Rice on the pitch.
You thought Fabio should have played instead of
I mean, I
Georgie?
thought we would have played something more aggressive, you know, someone gets a chance there, Fabio gets a chance there or something. But it
But
was surprising for
even in
me
the
to see.
squad, we didn't like because of lack of players, we had to include like three juniors, right? So
Yeah,
yeah,
but
maybe I would agree with you. I mean, like I don't see we were playing at home, so I didn't see a reason why we shouldn't have played Fabio. But
yeah.
then he showed us why he shouldn't have played by coming and getting the red card.
That is something that we need to talk, right? Like I mean, okay, we are here for the red card. Let's get that off the list. Um, Fabio Vieira for me has been a very difficult case to talk to. I see
Mm.
the potential. We saw what he did in his cameo when he came out and then scored. And we see him week in and week out. Whenever he gets a chance, he tries to. He doesn't hide. Like the complaint I have against Kai, which we'll get to in a bit, is that Kai doesn't put his hands up. He doesn't like, okay, I'll take this up. I'll take this free kick up, or I'll do this. Like you know, I'll be this person who creates the change. But Fabio has that tendency to put his hands up. He'll try and take the free kicks. He'll try and take the penalties, but it's not clicked for him yet at the club.
It's not clicking for me. That's I was thinking about this too. It's a bit worrying because apart from Odegaard, if you look at the other midfielders that we have, at least for Kai, we can say this is his first season in here. But like the other,
No, no, no. I'll get to Kai in a bit. You're
no,
not.
I mean like yeah,
You're not going to
you can.
defend him right now.
I'm not going to defend him, but like it's his first season in our team in a complex system, and he's replacing Xhaka and all that. Like change things are changing around him continuously. But for guys like ESR, who is not able to go 3 games without an injury, like he plays 3 games and all of a sudden it's an injury, he's out for 10 games, and Fabio, who is really not performing when he gets starts. It's like worrisome to if you really want to think about it, because like if Fabio is good only for like those 15-20 minute cameos, then that's not the player that we paid 35 million for.
Yes.
That's a bigger worry for me right now than Kai Havertz, to be honest, because Kai
Mm,
Havertz is going to be he's getting integrated into the system, right? For whatever reason, the manager paid was okay with paying 65 million, so he will definitely try and give him as many opportunities as possible. That's going to happen for sure. Whether Odegaard is playing as a third midfielder or Jorginho is playing as a third midfielder, given that Rice is definitely going to start.
See,
This
that's the thing. That's the thing. Okay, we'll mix both Kai and Fabio discussion here. But for me, like, I don't know if it's Ask Blog or Ask Us that Arsenal Vision that made the statement, but they said like 65 million is a lot of money. And what does that mean is a player has to prove his worth or get out of uh, getting these chances quicker. Like he has to either be like, okay, I can do this quicker, or he should be able to say like, okay, we have to come to a point where like, okay, this is not working quicker, because 65 million is a lot of money, and we will keep losing a lot more by expecting something out of this player, giving him
No,
more
but
and more
that's
chances.
the position. That's where I differ, because like I'm not like going on a limb and defending Kai here. We've spoken about him a lot, but the thing is that I over the 12 games in the Premier League, at least the games that he's played, especially since the Sevilla game, there has been improvement in his game. Not at the pace at which we wanted to be, given that we bought him at 65 million, and like he comes from a Premier League team as well. So definitely not at the pace at which we would expect him to be. But on the other side, if you really think about it, with him settling in, we're still getting points game after game after game. So
Yeah,
it's not like it's like 27 points that we are at from 12 games, and the leader is at 28 from 12 games. So we haven't really lost any game because of Kai Havertz playing, or drop points because of him playing. Like, oh, he has made a mistake, or he has gotten a red card that left us with 10 men, so we were not able to play. Fabio, on the other hand, he got a golden opportunity against Tottenham, playing on the left hand side, and he didn't do anything in that game.
no.
He didn't do anything at all. And that's what worries me, because like he's either going to be playing RCM or LCM. He's not going to be playing as a winger. Maybe when it was Europa League times, we could have played him as a winger to come, like give some rest to Saka. But I don't see him playing on the right wing against a Champions League team or even a Premier League team. So his role is in the midfield. And the fact that in these 2 years, of course, his chances have not been great. But whenever he has gotten the chances, he really hasn't done anything to make you want to see him again in that same role. You know what I mean?
See, that's the thing, right? Like now is his best chance. Now we are in a run of games where it's all winnable,
But he's
it's
not
all,
going to get
but
chances.
he's not going
He's
to
out for
get any
2 minutes.
chances because he's out.
Yeah.
Even in this game, the substitution happened at 60th minute. I think he had like 30 minutes to make a chance, make himself a name, but he didn't do anything.
He
Uh,
didn't do anything. And like
Coming
that
back,
going for that tackle when we were leading, and like it made zero sense.
83rd
Why
minutes,
why
83rd
would
minute,
you
you
do
don't have to
something
do
like this?
anything like that.
Yeah. Just let them have the ball. You don't have to go and tackle for the ball. Like it's like the fans would start pointing things out. Like it's at least we were okay and ready to give him a second season. But then like that's where I feel the situation is different with Kai, because Kai was brought in to be a starter.
See, that's the thing, right? Like, okay, coming to Kai, you made a great point. Yes, he has been playing, and we have lost a lot of like, we have not had a lot of our first teamers in this team. We've had a lot of like hodgepodge put up team kind of way, but still we are wrecking points. So Kai has not done anything bad. But my point is that, like, yes, as you said, he was bought to be the starter in this team. When Partey comes back, when White comes back, when Odegaard comes back, when Jesus comes back, do you see Kai as a starter here? Right? Like for
Not
me,
not
no. For
not
me,
not in
no.
the midfield. Maybe as a center forward, but again,
No,
I
if Jesus comes back, I don't see Kai getting that nod ahead of Jesus there.
yeah, that's what I said. Like not for every game, but for certain games. Yeah, but otherwise,
No, that's the thing.
I
If
don't
it is
know.
your if it is your strongest team that you want to put towards the end of the season when you're going for a title challenge, Kai doesn't make the team right now, and
He
that's my
doesn't make the
problem.
team right now, but I think that's the long-term vision of the manager indeed, like wanting to play two attacking eights.
But okay, so that's where the other thing comes back, right? Like that's where my question comes back. We wanted to upgrade that number 8, even though Shaka had an amazing season last season. We wanted to improve that number 8
Oh, he wanted
position.
to leave. Let's not.
Yeah. But still, but we could have bought anyone else. Spending 60 million is to bring a star in to
True.
make an upgrade. If not, we could have got like what 30 million players somewhere,
He could have
right?
gotten
Like
Madison.
anyone, yeah. But we wanted to make an upgrade. That's why we spent 60 million to bring in the star for that spot. And by that means he has to be a star. Has he done a lot of things, good things? Is he improved? Yes. But has he improved in the places that that position demands, like what a star is, as in like XG, or like what do you call it? Assists or chance creation or forward runs or shots. He has not improved on any of those.
That's where I think his role would be different. Because the way in which I see both because otherwise buying Havertz or someone with a similar profile would not have been like the high priority, because the other players that we were going for were Mount, I think, and I don't remember anyone else for the same position. I think it was just between him and Mount, and United got Mount and we got him. So Kai like was playing left center midfield for the first few games, and his game has changed since he started playing right center. So that's where I feel like Odegaard would be the one taking over the role like that Xhaka did, sort of playing the line breaking passes and being the one running into the box to take the shots. Whereas Kai would just be like someone who's there at the top, sort of providing an extra body and being
But
chance creator. Well,
see,
we haven't seen anything yet to prove
see,
this.
that's the thing, right? Like last season, if we have to even replicate last season, we need Odegaard to be Odegaard and Shaka to be Shaka. And if we have to go better than, I mean, Kai to be Shaka, but if you have to go better than last season, we need something extra from the players that we have got. And that's why my problem is that Kai is not doing enough. But this has been a discussion that we have been having for quite some time. I think it's time to move on from that.
I think as the turnaround will come from January, then we'll start him playing
I
with
mean,
more.
I'm not against him. Like he's an Arsenal player. We have paid 65 million. If he comes around, that would be the best thing that Arsenal could get. But I don't see that happening right now, and that's why I've been negative about the signing all along. But getting back to the game, I mean, getting back to the game, we did have a decent first half, but we did not like dazzle in the first half.
No, no, like I was expecting us to start off quicker and much better than what we did in the first half. And I was actually like, surprised that we didn't do that. The problem for me was they had their first shot on target before we did.
Yep.
And that was not fun because we were just like trying to do things while they went and did things. Like even if you look at the stats, we had 16 shots, out of which 6 were on target. They had only 8, but 5 of them were on target. Like when you look at the final metrics, it sort of shows that they, of course, that's how they would play. They would want to take their chances against a big team, try to play a low block and take their chances, and that's what they did. But like the fact that we were not as good as we could have been was, especially the first half, it needed like something superhuman from Leo. He risked his life, and like he hurt his arm, and that's how we got the goal. Had he not done that, we would have just gone 60 minutes without goal for sure.
Yeah, I
Then we
mean,
would have tried to shift
I mean
gears.
that man. I mean, for me, he should be the striker ahead of Eddie. When Jesus is not there, for me personally, Leo has to get that position because it's not just like how good his quality is. It's that like he's very nimble in his decision making. He moves
Mm.
in a way that like every decision of his is taking the team forward, and he combines with both Saka. And did you see the stat that every goal
A goal
Leo
that
has
he scored
scored
as a
as
assist
a
in that
Saka?
season. Yeah,
that
interesting. It's interesting.
that is both great, right? Like I mean, Saka gives like 7 assists for Leo. That's great. And then like uh, because we always say about like even in this game, I felt our right side of the right side was not functioning. Our attack on the right side was not functioning that much. At least in the second half, it was not.
Mm.
But then like the goal comes from that side, and then Saka does what Saka does. You know.
Yeah,
Uh, but Leo's goal, I mean, we bought him for what? 30 million, 20 million?
20 million, 20 or 21. Yeah.
Fucking every penny was
It's
used.
funny. I saw a stat like he has 24 goals and assists since the beginning of last year, since the time that we got him, which is just 4 less than Rashford, in spite of having played like I think close to 500, at least 500 minutes less than Rashford.
Yeah, United fans hailed Rashford as being the biggest thing the EPL
No,
has
no,
ever
they moved
seen.
on. He's no longer the star boy. The star boy is Garnacho for them now.
Fuck that guy. I hate Garnacho. But yeah, I mean, their goal was for me. I mean, do you think that is a foul on Tomiyasu, the goal that they scored?
No.
Yeah, I mean that was not even a discussion.
It's like it wasn't a foul. Like I said, the refereeing was good in this game. To be honest,
Mhm.
that red was like I don't. If I were to complain for that red, I'm pretty sure You can brand me an agenda activist, They say it has to be a red, like the way in which he went. And I don't think that was like a foul on this fellow either. It was like, yeah. I mean, like Tommy lost him and like he tried keeping up, but that guy Kolyosho was the only bright spot for them.
Yep.
He was the one who was trying to make things happen. I wouldn't be surprised if Burnley do drop. I wouldn't be surprised if one of those bottom half teams try and get him because he's trying to make things happen, and you need that sort of a mentality as a bottom half team to get through and get you some points. Yeah.
Okay, the next two goals are like from set pieces. We have been, I mean, I think Arteta came out and said like this is going to happen a lot because a lot of teams sit deep. So the only way is from dead ball situations. And not just that, we have been one of the highest crossing teams without Olivier Giroud. So that is,
But that's again, right? Nothing is happening through the center. So that's also a cause of worry. Whether
yeah.
Odegaard plays or not, there's nothing happening through the center. So,
but
wait. Sorry,
yeah,
go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, I mean, like for me, yeah, that's all good in terms of scoring from crosses and scoring from corners. But it took us 13 corners to make something out of it.
Exactly. That
That's
was
the other
where
thing.
I was
It was
getting
like, even if you see the replay again, like when Martinelli goes to take the corner, Rice actually points to a spot, asking him to put the ball on that spot, and that's the spot where Saliba rushes to get the goal. So it was a really good goal from Saliba. The leap was fantastic. All that was great, but it was the 13th corner that finally took us to get a goal. And we are talking about dead ball situations to get goals when teams do play low block, but I don't remember us having scored even one goal from a free kick in a really long time.
No.
Like forget about like direct free kicks to the goal, but like one of those long kicks where like you have a bunch of players trying to hit. All the other teams seem to be doing it, but we do have like all of these tall players. We units like our backline when Tomiyasu plays, all the four of them are actually in the box. And then we have Rice in the box, we have Kai Havertz in the box. So we have 6 hits to aim for, and nothing comes out of the free kick. So that for me is something that needs to be addressed as soon as possible. I don't know what Jover is doing, but
yeah, I think the deliveries from both Saka and Martinelli has been below par. Like this game, I saw that like when Trossard started taking those kicks, those were finding or are being delivered into more dangerous spots than what Martinelli and Saka has been doing. So I think it's time to switch up our long ball takers.
Yeah, we should. Should have more options. It's always good to have more options, right?
I always feel that Zinchenko should be doing something because he's like that goal was fantastic. There was nothing that anyone else could have done. Like for me, that's the goal of the weekend. For me,
I think
definitely.
probably like one of his best games in a long time, in a long time, not just this season. I think even like he was receiving a lot of flack for his defending last season. We tend to forget that it's a part of the manager's play to have him like not focus too much on it. I won't give him like slack on that. I won't.
Yeah, it's so funny to hear that because we are the best off the ball team and we are the best defending team, and yet we say our first choice left back is bad at defending. That is that
It
is
is.
such a
It is. I mean,
irony.
maybe it's time to start playing him in the midfielder role, the one that he always wants to play in.
I don't know because the thing is like where would you play him in midfield, right? Rice, you
Left
cannot
center
get Rice
midfield.
anywhere. And left, yeah, I mean better than Kai for me. I'm happy
So
about that.
Rice was probably something like Rice, Odegaard, and Zinchenko.
I wouldn't be against it, but
We should try that, right?
I would rather have like Odegaard, Rice, and Partey, or else Odegaard, Rice,
That's
and
probably the best midfield that we could have: Odegaard, Rice, and Partey. But like for that to happen, Partey needs to be like injury free for
yeah.
more than 90 minutes at a stretch, right?
If Partey is not there, then Odegaard, Rice, and Trossard. Trossard would be my choice.
I think like that's we are trying to get like all the players that we have been linked with, be it like Neves or Lewis or Zubimendi. It's all players who are I believe more suited for the sixth position. than like the 8 position that we want them to play in LCM, sort of like press resistant players who can be at the tip of the midfield three, and then like dictate play from there. So we are basically trying to replace Party with players who could possibly be Party but are not Party. But if they are more available, then I think I would take that.
It depends on how much money we put in, for me.
Yeah, that's true. I don't want to pay 60 million for a Douglas Lewis. That's like
No way.
definitely no.
No way. One last thing to talk about the game, though, is that the substitutions, right? Like, I mean, apart from the red card, the substitution was happening at a different time. Like it was at 60th minute, even before we scored, or he made the substitution ready before we scored the second goal, but still went ahead with substituting Kai with him, and then like we took out Rosard, we took out who did we take out? Martinelli, Saka. So it was like complete substitution of the attacking unit.
Yeah, except I think all 4 of them were subbed off. Yeah, Reese came on, KBR came on for Martinelli when we had to like show things up and we were using defenders. Fabio came in for Kai. Reese came in for Martinelli. Reese came in for this fellow Saka, and Eddie came in for Trossard. But I think those subs were needed at that point. It gives like some rest, given that all of these guys are going to be going for the international break when there's no need for it, and given that Brazil Football Federation have lost all trust in us, they have taken him, and he was still, I don't know if you saw the video, he was still limping.
Yeah,
when he was there, and it makes no sense. You see this, if you have like half a brain, you can say that the guy is not ready.
And like I am half convinced that they're gonna make him play against Argentina.
Yeah, I think so too. And probably one of these like Romero's or Rodrigo De Paul, one of them is going to put a tackle on him. I can already see that happening.
It's just such a stupid thing to do, and I mean,
like, I think they should trust the clubs. I don't understand why.
I mean, it's like flying him halfway around the world for absolutely no reason, and then bringing him back for absolutely no reason. It's just so stupid, but it is what it is. At the end of the day, it's the national national team that takes precedence on players. So
that's true. No player is going to like refuse the opportunity to play for the national team. But then like the club and the player would have actually spoken about it and like seen the need or like lack of need for him to go there and play, right? So that's where I don't understand. It's not like Gabriel Jesus pushed to go to Brazil. The Brazilian Federation wanted him. There's a big difference between the two.
Yep. So I think that's the end of the discussion for the game. I don't see a lot more to talk about it now that it's like 2 or 3 days after the game. So
even if we had recorded on like the day of the game, I don't think we would have had a lot to talk about this.
I mean, we would have talked a lot more. People know that we talk a lot more. That's our brand. Yeah. So, but you were, before the recording, you were saying something about the Ramsdale situation, right?
Yeah, that's something interesting that popped up because this guy, Ramsdale, his father, who we saw completely like going bonkers in all or nothing videos, he went on a podcast. It's called the Highbury Squad podcast. It features a former player, Kevin Campbell, along with another lady, I forget her name. And he had mentioned about how Ramsdale has lost his smile because of not being first choice and being dropped. And now this I find is like coming at a time when we don't need this type of a drama at the club. So it's sort of like I don't know if you noticed Twitter or not today. It's sort of like blown up on Twitter with like fans taking his side, a bunch of fans taking his side, talking about like how Arteta's mismanagement of 2 number 1 keepers, which is not a possibility in this day and age of football. And another bunch talking about how like this is totally unwanted. The dad should have kept his mouth shut, probably had a couple of drinks before going in, and like he just like said whatever he wanted to. But I think the Ramsdale's dad, Nick Ramsdale, I think he also said about the fans showing their support to Raya. So I don't think it was all bad, but the fact that it did came out at this point in time, especially, I'm not sure. The next game is against Brentford, and I don't think Raya, being a player on loan, has the permission to play against Brentford. So it also comes in the middle of the season as an opportunity for Ramsdale to play and maybe make a mark. Given
See,
like he's
that's the thing, right? Like, what I mean, I am on that side, in case people don't know that, like, I'm on Ramsdale's side in this situation, even though I completely agree that Ramsdale took over from Leno in a similar
yeah,
situation.
that's what people are saying. It's sort of the same situation. He came in and Leno was like unceremoniously dropped. Ramsdale became number one.
Yeah, but the thing is, once Ramsdale started playing, we could clearly see during that time what's the difference between Leno and Ramsdale. But in this situation, Raya and Ramsdale, we are not clearly able to see. There's not like a clear marker that Raya is better than Ramsdale. That's why these problems creep up. And the other thing is, like, Arteta, for all his talk about having two first choice goalkeepers, has not started Ramsdale in any of the cup games apart from one cup game. He didn't
Yeah.
start in I mean, the biggest
No,
problem
he
for
did. He
me,
was he played in the Carabao Cup game against West Ham.
yes, but the biggest problem was for me that Champions League is something that Ramsdale should be able to play, and that is by merit, right? Like, he was part of this team that got back into Champions League. He doesn't have to play the entire tournament, but he should have gotten a chance in these games, at least one of
I'm
these
pretty
games.
sure he'll get one. Like after we
But
win,
that's the whole point, right? Like, the whole point is that pretty sure he'll get one is not the same as having two first choice goalkeeper. Like, pretty sure you will get one is a second choice goalkeeper. It's like having Carl Hein. Yeah, Carl Hein will get his chance to play in one of those Carabao Cup games. Now we are out of it. He might not get a chance to play, but that's like speaking. Oh yeah, like Nelson will pretty much get a chance to play, but Ramsdale is not a Nelson. Nelson has
Mhm.
not done enough in this team to warrant that, like, that what Ramsdale has done. So that's where the problem is. The problem is, like, there has not been backing to in action to what Arteta has said about having two first choice goalkeeper. And
Mhm.
regarding Ramsdale's dad, I mean, there's nothing wrong in the comments that I've read about what he has said, but the timing is not, it's not really in anyone's control, right? Like, we talk shit about Ramsdale, we talk shit about Raya, we talk about every other player. It's a podcast. That's the end of the discussion, right? Like, of course, coming from someone like who's related to the player makes it a lot more interesting. But at the end of the day, it's still someone. If Ramsdale would have come out and said something, then that requires all these cry and you. But it's his dad. It,
Yeah,
it's like, what's his name? Aubameyang's dad or brother. All
brother.
those
Yeah,
people shit talking things. The same way, this is just someone doing it who's not the player. So I don't care.
yeah. I mean, for me, like it's just like what Eddie says in All or Nothing. So what, mate? So what, my friend? Like you just keep your head down and keep trying until you get your chance. And that's goes for all the players. It's not just like Ramsdale or like Odegaard or Fabio Vieira or Kai Havertz. It has to go for all the players. If you're not in form and if the manager drops you, then yeah, put your head down, try to come back into the squad. If the manager is being how do you put it? If the manager is having favorites, then it's up to the manager. Like he sees something working. So unless like you're someone who's been continuously performing and not getting chances or like anything of that sort, I don't think players should be like talking about this.
Yep.
Just put your head down and play.
Okay. I think that's the end of Arsenal discussions for today. But we would continue our new normal of talking about the other PL games. Uh, I mean, it was a great game week to start off with. It was an early game for me to see Wolves and Tottenham game. I didn't see it. I woke up to see the score,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah. I was same thing for me. It was like 7:30 in the morning. I didn't want to like wake up that early in the morning to watch these fuckers play. So
yeah. But when I saw the score, I was running towards my TV to just rewatch this game. What a wonderful, wonderful way! Like, 2-1, Wolves winning. I mean,
And both the goals coming in extra time, and it was actually a
yes.
really good goal from Sarabia too. Like the way
Oh,
in
it
which he
was.
controlled the ball and moved the ball to his other foot and took the shot. Really, really good goal too. So yeah, I
And
think
and
that's the
before and
beginning.
before any of the Tottenham fans come out and defend like, oh, we control the game, you did not control any shit in that game. Like you had 6 shots compared to Wolves had 17 shots.
Yeah.
17 to 6 shots. So no, you did not control anything in that game.
No, plus like they had like their players too. Like it's sort of like the ones who coming out of the ones coming back. It's only Bentancur who's like actually a good player. So they're going to be going for the next 3 games, I think, next 2 games at least, without Romero. Not that Romero is a great defender, but at least he's a better defender than having Eric Dyer or Ben Davis or Oliver Skip, like playing your centre back. But the next games are fun. They play Villa at home, which Romero would miss. Man City away, which Romero would miss. And they are going to be without all of these players for West Ham game, Newcastle game, Nottingham Forest away, Everton at home. So they have a tough set of fixtures. So all of these fans who were like, Roosters don't fly, and even if they do, they don't fly high, and that's what's happening right now. So they're going to get barbecued.
I mean, there was a meme about like, yeah, minute silence for Tottenham's title challenge.
Yeah.
Which lasted
Harry was
exactly a minute.
Harry was so happy. You should have seen him. He was just like asking people to barbecue the chicken, and like he was going crazy.
Amazing. The second game was like United versus Luton. Again, United just scrapped through a win with all the talks about like Ten Hag being a mastermind and that and this. Luton had 10 shots in that game.
But you
15
know
to
what
10
the funny
shots.
part is? United are the most informed team in the league right now.
Yeah, you can say that.
I
But
think out of the last 6 games, they won their last five league games. If you're considering only the league, they won 5 league games out of 6, and what do you know? All of a sudden, they're in the 6th spot.
yeah, but we know what United are. They are not looking good. Like eye test proves what they are. They might be
True,
scraping
but
wins,
I
but
will not discount them out. I'm not saying they're going to win the title, but I have a feeling they'll finish 4th or 5th.
I think it all depends on Unai Emery. I think if Aston Villa kind of
No, I'll tell you why. More than another manager, it's their players coming back. All their injured players are coming back, and that's going to be like it's the same thing that we are doing, right? We are not playing great, but we are getting the points. And when you're able to get the points when you do not have your players, once you get your players, that form and that confidence is going to help you, right? And that's what they did last season too. They were continuously winning in the Carabao, and they translated that form to the league, and they just went on a winning run. Many people say they don't see them going on runs like they did last time, but trust me, I wouldn't discount those guys out. You might call me a United fan, but like this is how football works, right? It's funny.
I know, but I still see like when I put team names on the table, I see like City, Arsenal, Liverpool right there. 3 teams, right? And apart from that, there is Villa, who's very strong, who looks very strong at least. And then there is like Tottenham, unfortunately. They would be in the
Okay,
mix.
let's see this. Between Villa and United, who do you think has a better squad?
I mean, United has a better squad, but I think Villa has a better manager.
Right now, but like the fact that Villa has to play a European competition, which is too big for them compared to what United will have to, like, say, even if they get knocked out of the Champions League and they play in the Europa League, I think they will have they have better resources, and they'll have a better time managing between the competitions than Villa could. That's where I feel the difference should be, because again, like, Emery was supposed to be the Europa League mastermind, but he lost the finals 4-1. You can say what you want, but he lost the finals 4-1.
I
So
mean, it is our team, so
no, that's true. That's what I'm saying. Like, you can say what you want. You can say that the players did not cooperate, but the same players went on a 22 game unbeaten streak. So I really believe United can easily pip Villa, or even Tottenham for that matter. And I think they can finish 4th.
Okay, let's see. Let's see. Famous last words.
I would love for this to not come true, but like, unfortunately, it is going to be true.
Okay, the next game is Crystal Palace Everton. Everton winning. I mean, for all the talks, we started this season with like, oh, Everton's going down, but they seem to be pulling themselves together.
Yeah, yeah. Crystal Palace is not an easy place to go and win, and they
Yes,
managed to
exactly.
score 3 goals and they won. Plus, the thing is, like, I think they're mentally prepared for that 12-point, deduction. So they're not taking any chances. They're trying to go and win all of their games. Uh, it doesn't seem like Dutch ball anymore. It seems like different. Even the way in which they're playing, they're not just like playing
Nope.
physically, or like waiting for the counter. I think Calvert Lewin's return is a big blessing for them.
Yep.
They have like someone who is good at scoring goals rather than
Mm-hmm.
just use his physical presence like Beto was doing. Beto was more like not a great striker, but he was just like a hardworking striker, whereas Calvert Lewin can finish chances, right? So I think that's what's going to take them forward. I think, I don't. If they do keep this momentum, I don't see them dropping, even if they get a 12-point deduction.
Mm-hmm. But another best game for me was like Newcastle. I mean, it was just because of what happened last week, right? Like I enjoyed it a
They've become
little
public
bit more.
enemies #1 now.
Yeah, I mean, I really like this game just because of what happened last week, and the Newcastle fans coming out and defending all that shit that happened last week. So to see Bournemouth going there and like, I mean, they came to Bournemouth and like lost that game, so it was fun to see. And Newcastle didn't create anything in that game.
They didn't do nothing.
They
Even
had
more fun was like Trippier fighting with the fans. That was even funnier.
I love that. I love that. But yeah, I don't see Newcastle being there and about in the top 4 5
it,
race.
it it would get worse for them if they drop down to the Europa League.
Mhm.
That's where I find like United has the advantage because all of these teams don't know how to manage multiple competitions, and Europa is not going to be as like in the sense that the competition is not great in terms of the teams. The cream of the crop would come out after the knockouts, but there's going to be a bunch of teams dropping out. Some big
Yep.
teams could drop out from the CL. Plus, the teams that you play are not going to be close to you, so the travel also plays. It's going to be Thursday, Saturday, or Sunday. So that's where I believe United have the advantage to finish, like within fourth or
Mhm.
fifth. Like I said, fourth.
Mhm. Aston Villa, Fulham, Emery doing what Emery does.
It's a home
Three.
game. You can give it to Emery. Like home game, Emery below six, below
Yep.
the big six, he's going to win those games.
Yep. But the other game was like Brighton Sheffield. Of course, we were talking about like the red card decision and how De Zerbi has come out and talked about it. I feel it was not a red card, but like it is a
I didn't
orange
see that
card.
game actually.
I felt it was a orange card to say the least, but it was a yellow. It was a yellow. I don't see it as a red, but of course it's a red from the refereeing standpoint. So Sheffield Brighton was a 1-1 draw. West Ham Nottingham Forest was interesting because um, I mean no one expects Nottingham Forest to do anything special.
Especially away from home.
Yes, to push West Ham to that extent, to have what's his name, Suchek, is it? Who scored the goal in the
Yeah,
90th minute or close to that. It was
almost
it,
past 80 minutes. Yeah.
yeah. So it was it was the best Nottingham Forest could pull off. Um, Liverpool Brentford was straightforward, and we expected Liverpool to win,
Yeah, I
but
mean, like people were discounting them at the beginning of the season. I said like they are as much in the title race as we are.
But the best thing even in that game was the misses by Darwin Nunes. I'm like, I'm like, if we are talking about the like the scams of Premier League era, Darwin Nunes has to be one of those. That guy misses like he cannot shoot
Like
even
if
if
you
it's
give him an easy chance, you give him like no open goal 4 yards away, he's going to miss it. Give
and
him a
the
difficult chance and he's going to try and score from there, and he might even end up scoring. He did that
and
in the Europa League. I was so surprised.
And the thing is, like, you see that, like, in one set of plays, Salah's second goal, I think, like, Darwin Nunes does everything but score the goal. And then
Hmm.
Salah comes in. It was not a best angle, but the moment you see Salah near the ball, you know that the ball's going in.
Yeah.
It's like you could see the difference, and I'm like, I'm wondering what's going to happen to Liverpool once Salah moves away.
That's the thing. Like they can probably sell him for 150 to 200 million to the Middle East and buy like another top winger. Who knows?
I
Even
mean,
Mbappe.
looking at their signing of Darwin Nunes, I don't have high hopes on them buying anyone that is
No,
good
but they
enough.
also made a lot of other good deals, right? Darwin's the one who's sticking out like a sore thumb, but they have like Gakpo, they have all of
Yeah.
these other players that they've got. So, like, I wouldn't discount them at all. They are as much in the title race as we are in it right now.
And the best game of the weekend,
The
City
4-4.
versus Chelsea.
Yeah.
I mean, now looking back, the game against us kind of like kick-started Chelsea's season, is what I feel.
They have an advantage when playing against teams that play expansive football. They play their style of football. They don't sit back, so like they're not that they're all, because that gives them the opportunity to exploit spaces, and they have a young fast team. We know how Pochettino wants his teams to play. They're always like really quick on the press, and they want to get the balls back and when they lose them. So I wasn't really surprised with the way Chelsea are playing, but you will see them struggle against teams that play a low block, and that was one of the stupidest things that like Ange did when they lost 4-1. Many Chelsea fans were actually disappointed with the win because of it staying just 4-1 and them not taking advantage and them taking the time to score those goals. So yeah, I mean, like, it was a very interesting game. Very bad defending from City, especially Guardiola losing his man for that goal, having playing as a left back, and Diaz was all over the place. Were a very bad game from him as well. They needed that deflected goal from Rodri to take them to 4-4, but like, yeah, I mean, I don't know if you saw the Kukureya dive. For me, that was the best part of the game.
For me, the thing is like I was looking at what's his name, Cole Palmer, right? Like, and I'm like, he gives me the Frank Lampard vibes very strongly.
As in,
Like you would respect the play. I would respect the player, but I would also hate the player.
mm,
Like I know
I
that he's
haven't developed
quality.
any sort of feelings for him yet. Like, there's just like nothing. Like, I just see him as like, okay, let me see you for an entire season. Let me see what you can do.
Mm, I'm just
Why
I'm just telling you about the vibes situation right now, right? It's not anything with stats or backing or anything. It's just a eye test vibe. That's all it is. But I think that's the end of our discussion for this week's PL games. And it is international break, so probably we'll try and do something.
Yeah,
Maybe,
right.
maybe
Yeah,
not. I don't know.
yeah,
Let's see.
we can
But
try.
but for all the listeners, please do continue supporting us. Like, share, subscribe. We are at 301 still. So if you have their friends, family, and others, just make them subscribe. We will try and give better content each time when we come here. So,
Of
and if
course,
you
if you
want
have
to
any
talk,
suggestions, do let us know.
yes, and if you want to talk, see if you want to take Arun's position, please do comment in. He's being high
I'm very
maintenance right now.
replaceable, as you
No,
can see.
you're high maintenance right now. So yes. So anyone wishing to speak, to reach out to us in our social media platforms, and see you next episode before the game.
Yeah, let's not
Bye.
commit to a time. Yeah. Bye.